Hello, everybody. Welcome to this not normal edition of What's Up New London. This is just going to kind of be me rambling for a little bit here and talking about some of the experiences and trials and tribulations of trying to make the podcast work. I started back in November of last year with the audio-only podcast. It never got real popular, but it was getting a reasonable amount of listens, especially around the holiday season. Got pretty popular around the holiday season and then dropped back off again. But in July of this year, I decided to try to make the leap to video. It's got some advantages, but it's got a lot of challenges. It's been kind of a struggle. I had hair when I started it, done pulled it all out already. It's been a real challenge trying to find a video recording software package that does decent audio. When I do audio-only stuff, I use Audacity, and it works great. I get good quality audio. But I have absolutely been a struggle to find something that can capture decent video, that the audio doesn't sound like you were using the built-in mic in your laptop. So that's been an issue, but we're working through it. Got some new equipment, have upgraded some things here. Lighting's a challenge with video. It's really hard, amazingly, to do them during the daytime when there's a lot of ambient light. I would have thought that would have made it easier, but it's super hard to get reasonable lighting during the daytime. In the evening, when it's dark, there's no light coming in the windows and stuff, and you can control the lighting. It's actually much easier. So that's one thing I've learned. It's a little time-consuming, editing the video, but I've had fun doing it, and I hope people are enjoying it. Not getting a lot of views, half a dozen or so, maybe 10 subscribers on the YouTube channel. So I don't think YouTube's going to be sending me any big checks anytime soon for pulling traffic their way or accusing me of using up all their server space. But I appreciate the folks that do watch, and I hope you enjoy it. And hopefully we can continue to make the content a little better. Really need to think about what is going to be the content of the podcast. I know the history segment was one of the ones that was most popular, but quite frankly, I'm starting to have a hard time finding stuff in the Red Book to really talk about and make a story. So definitely got to try and come up with some other content. Obviously keep doing the nonprofit events and stuff. I like trying to help get the word out on the events. I've started playing around doing some voiceover promo type stuff. Maybe you've seen some of them on Facebook, kind of doing video audio ads for some of the nonprofit stuff. Will it help? I don't know. It seems to be a little more catchy when you're scrolling through Facebook than just seeing a flyer and scrolling past a flyer. If the audio starts playing and I can get good quality audio, it may catch a few more people, get some people's interest. So hopefully that'll help out the nonprofits and participation in some of the events around town. And I was mentioning dealing with some of the technical struggles, and just an example, some of the silly things you run into when you've got this many pieces of equipment all hooked together and trying to process audio and video. I had hooked up a new audio mixer, audio interface yesterday, and was messing around in the afternoon doing some voiceover recording type stuff and just figuring out how to get it set up and all the adjustments, and had to where I was just very happy with the audio I was getting, capturing audio only. So then a little later in the evening, after dinner, I came in, wanted to do a little bit of recording, going to mess around some more. And I had this high-pitched hiss in the background, typical sound of having a mic amp turned up too far. And I checked everything in all my equipment. I checked all the software settings. I checked all the cables, disconnected, reconnected. Couldn't make this noise go away. I was up late last night working on it, back down at 5:30 this morning. Finally did a Google search and come across a guy that says, go into your Windows settings and check the mic gain in Windows itself. And sure enough, and it's happened again once today, one of these programs that when you start them, you do something with one of these recording programs, somehow it reaches back into the Windows settings and maxes out the microphone gain in Windows itself. So at least I know that now. It happened once again today, and as soon as I heard it, I knew what it was and could fix it right away. But you run into some of the craziest things with all this stuff hooked up, and it can be a little challenging sometimes, a little frustrating to figure out what's going on. Another challenge I learned real quick dealing with video is the sheer size of the files and the time it takes to process the stuff. And the quality here isn't as good as I'd like it to be, but boy, I tell you, the more you increase that resolution, the more it takes. I was doing some stuff in 4K and looked great, but a 2 or 3 minute segment in 4K would take 15 minutes to process from the raw video to the MP4, and then it'd take another 20, 30 minutes to get that uploaded to YouTube and processed on YouTube just because of the video quality. If I do a 720p video, processes in less than a minute and uploads in less than 10 minutes. So video files are intensive when you start moving them around. So that's a bit of a challenge. Audio stuff, you could do a 15-minute audio podcast recording and upload it to the server in less than a minute, a few seconds. But it's another challenge of working with video, and so as you notice the quality kind of come and go a little bit in the video, that sometimes it's a trade-off. I'm still playing with resolution settings, trying to get provide the best quality I can, the best resolution I can, and still keep it reasonable to process, because if you do the top of the line stuff, it's almost impossible. And let's face it, if it's just me sitting here talking, it's not a movie, it's not a drama, so probably don't need that 4K anyway. Go back to something I was talking about in that first segment just a little bit, and talking about I want to clarify when I talked about the challenge of finding good video software. I should insert the word reasonably priced in there, the qualifier. I'll tell you, one of these days maybe it'll be the time for Adobe Pro, but going to have more than 10 subscribers to justify $500 or $600 a year for Adobe Pro. So trying to make do with what's out there for free and or reasonable. But as the old saying goes, you get what you pay for. So that's part of the challenge. The other thing is, sure be nice to have a sound room. As you can tell, I'm sure you can hear throughout the video with this, especially when you use a condenser microphone. If you're using the Dynamics, they're pretty forgiving. But these condenser microphones, they will pick up every single noise throughout the house. Every little bit comes right through. So they're super sensitive, and that's sometimes a challenge too. If you're got a lot of things going on around the house, you got to kind of time your video recording or your sound recording around what everything else is going on around the house. So one of the things you learn to do, and the one thing that works out, as I mentioned earlier, the video lighting's much easier to do at night, so it's a good time to record videos is later in the evening when the lighting's right and the house is quiet. Well, I guess I've rambled on long enough here this evening. If you've stuck around this long, I do appreciate it. Um, as always, I want to thank all of you that do watch the podcast. Appreciate it. Appreciate any feedback. Definitely appreciate the likes and subscribes to the YouTube channel. Lets me know that somebody's watching, somebody's interested. Whether you think it's goofy and if you get a laugh out of it or you learn something, if it's entertaining, hey, whatever. As long as somebody gets some enjoyment out of it, appreciate it. And again, any feedback, something you got ideas for things you think would make good segments or something to cover, be sure to let me know. And folks, we'll see how it goes. We'll keep playing with it, keep working on our equipment and craft and lighting, and hopefully one of these days we'll be able to turn out something that looks halfway professional and folks can get some enjoyment out of. So everyone take care, and we'll catch you next time.